I was in the mood to suffer today, so I went on TikTok. Saw some unimaginable things.
Oh, the horror.
And I decided to show them to you as well. Spreading the love. That's what I do. So yeah, I'll be testing some TikTok art hacks and trends that I saw. 2 out of 3 of them will make you want to rip your hair out. Or at least they did for me. Probably my own fault though. I always manage to make a mess of things. I genuinely try to make something good and just make things work and seem perfect. It just doesn't usually go that way. So first things first, I pulled out a canvas. I was feeling very artistic today. Was in the mood to create a masterpiece. I just felt inspired. So I pulled out some crayons. All 4 packs of them. Four packs of 16, so that makes 16 times 4. I dumped them all out and then organized them by color. They gave plenty of oranges. Yellow orange and orange honestly look the same. So let's be real, Crayola. You only gave us 15 colors. Saving money on the oranges. Good for you. I then transported all the crayons onto my beautiful hand-spun carpet. Oh, looks like Sniffledore forgot to vacuum that. He missed a spot. I don't really know why I moved them to the carpet. There was no reason to. After admiring them on the carpet, I then moved them all back to the desk. Well, that was eventful. We only need the colorful ones today, so I'm getting rid of the black, white, and brown crayons. I'll save these for another day. Now this is the agonizing part. I wanted to peel all the wrappers off the crayons. If you care about your nails, you probably shouldn't do it like this. Luckily for me, I don't. No. So here I am struggling to rip off the wrappers. I don't know why, but in my head I thought this part would be a lot easier. It wasn't. It was painful.
My thumb hurt.
It was taking so long to do. I was gonna be here all day just peeling crayons, and there was still 16 times 4 minus 1 crayons left to do. I knew there had to be a better way. So I googled it, and apparently if you soak them in hot water for a little bit, the wrappers start peeling off, and then you can just kinda slide them off the crayon. Now that's a hack if I've ever seen one. 2 hacks in one. Your lucky day. Good for you. It still took a bit to peel them, but not nearly as long as it was taking before. I looked it up later, and it seems like you don't even have to take off the wrapper, so that was a whole waste of time. I have an uncanny ability to sabotage myself and make things more complicated than they need to be. Now you can clearly see I was right all along. The oranges are in fact the exact same color. I knew it. Here's the aftermath. Just gonna throw that all away. There's more on the floor, but I'll vacuum that with my feet later. Or perhaps my third arm. I then arranged all the crayons on top of the canvas in rainbow order. There's a couple outlaws that aren't actually in the rainbow, like the pink, magenta, and turquoise. I just put them in where I thought they might fit. There was some space left, and luckily we have a surplus of orange. So I just stuck a couple more of those oranges in. I hot glued the whole rainbow onto the top of the canvas. I needed a break from staring at rainbows, so I decided to draw something on the canvas. I just wanted to inject some interest into this piece. Make it more interesting. So I decided to add Sniffledorf to the mix. I decided to draw him a bit crazy. He looks very disheveled. I did that on purpose. When I first found him, he was very young. He still had his baby blue eyes. He's aged a bit since then. I think his eyes are green. They were especially green in the sun, so that's why I made him green today. He's gonna be sitting in a pool of rainbow. He's not very happy about it. If you're new here and you don't want to get caught in Hurricane Rainbow, you should consider selling your soul to me by subscribing to my channel and ringing that bell thing so you don't lose me on the internet. I post new videos
Every Friday.
So the hack or trend or whatever is that you basically blow dry these crayons and they're supposed to rain down. Looked fun. I wanted to try it for myself, so here we are. It's not really a hack since I'm not sure what problem it's solving, but I'm testing it nonetheless. I put them in a rainbow order because I felt anything else would look too muddy. Things were moving kinda slow. I was getting a bit impatient, so I grabbed a heat gun to speed up the process a bit, and it did speed things up. Things were looking good, until I lost control.
That's okay. That's okay.
The heat gun gets the job done, but it's a little bit aggressive in its methods. The rainbow started dripping onto Sniffledorf, which is fine. I wanted him to look wet anyway. I did it on purpose. Sorry. He's like caught in the rain, but I didn't want him to be completely drowned in rainbow, so I switched back to the blow dryer.
Wow, that's a whole lot of wasted space.
No, actually, I didn't want the whole canvas to be overpowered by rainbow. I did want some balance with white space, so I decided this was a good stopping point. Maybe I should have taped up the edges. Some of the crayon dripped onto the sides. Nothing crazy though. I just scraped it off with a butter knife and painted the edges black. I love how this turned out. I was worried that the crayons would kinda all melt together and just rain down the whole canvas or most of it. It wasn't as difficult to control the drips as I thought it would be. Peeling the crayons was annoying and took a bit of time and frustration, but I definitely recommend this one. After that whole process of unwrapping the crayons, I thought that surely nothing could be worse. I was wrong. It got worse. I bought these vases at Goodwill. There was a whole wall of glass vases. It was kinda hard picking which one I wanted, but eventually I ended up going with these. I liked their shapes at the time. They were looking good at the moment. One of them is like this tall cylinder adorned with Illuminati triangles. Not sure if it's supposed to be a really tall drinking cup or a really tall vase with a handle. I guess vases can have handles. I don't know. I've never owned a vase before. These are the first ones I've ever bought for myself. It marks an important milestone. You know you're an adult when you buy yourself a vase. I don't think I'll keep them around for long though, and you'll see why. By the way, I'm not including the TikTok clips in this video. When I started my channel, I got copyright striked once for including a short clip that I reacted to. That was enough to make me never want to insert anyone's clip ever again. Except for Nerdy Crafter and Mariah's and a few other art channels who I can trust. So apparently you can turn glass vases into a handmade clay pottery kind of look, or so TikTok claims. These stickers are really hard to get off. You just need paint and baking powder. Why pull out the pottery wheel when you can just pull out the baking powder? I'll show you why. Any baking powder will do. I got mine at Wegmans. If you live in Virginia, you might have heard of it. For this first tragedy, I'll be wasting some of my treasured silver marlin.
That was a good one.
No one ever said what the ratio of paint to baking powder should be, so I just kinda guessed. The baking powder caused the paint to rise a bit, foreshadowing my rising stress levels with this hack. I pulled out Big Booty Moody and just started painting it on there. Takes a couple layers. A lot of times the paint just kinda peels off. It did not want to stay. Things do get a bit textured in some spots, but it's supposed to have a handmade look, so I guess the texture adds to the vibe you're going for. And the vibe is rustic, I think. I was planning on painting something funny on one of them, make it more my style, but I knew if I tried to draw something on here it would just peel off all the paint, so we're just gonna spare ourselves that. The next vase is going to be a gorgeous shade of French lilac.
I surrender!
Delicious. Just kidding. I did this whole situation 3 times, 3 different vases, just kinda switching back and forth while they dry. I chose the ugliest color for the giant coffee mug. Linen. It looks a lot like dried mud. I really didn't like anything at all about this one. The shape, the color, the whole thing was a bad idea, but I persevered and kept slapping on the layers on all of them. The glass was still peeking through in some spots. I did my best to cover it up. I think this is one of those things that's meant to be viewed with our 6-foot distance rule in mind. If you have some time to waste and you have some ugly vases lying around and you need a good cry, I think this is the craft for you. But you do have to move fast since the paint keeps drying, so it has to be a quick cry. I feel like the hack worked, but it also kinda didn't work. I don't think these vases are fooling anybody, and I don't know if it's worth the time, but they do look a bit fancy if you live in the mid-century. For the final hack, my girlfriend donated a pair of her old skinny jeans. They're very, very tiny. I was honestly kinda taken aback by how tiny they are. They don't fit me, and to be honest, I don't know if they still fit her. I can guarantee they're uncomfortable. Olivia. That's not her name. This one's a hack for painting on clothes. You can basically just use some chalk to sketch out what you're gonna paint before you paint it. Kinda good because you can't really use pencil on clothing, and you could just rub the chalk off. Convenient. This hack really doesn't require any testing. It's kinda self-explanatory. I don't know if I like this hack too much. Unless you have really skinny chalk, it's hard to sketch out much other than general outlines. I decided to sketch out some peas in a pod. One of them decided to abandon the click. I used fabric paint, mostly slick because that's what I have. This is my first time attempting to paint with fabric paint on actual fabric. I normally just paint squishies with it. I went for something super simple, also because they're really tiny pockets. The camera's zoomed in so you can't tell how small they are. You just gotta take my word for it. They're smaller than my hand. Hopefully that gives some frame of reference. I did a sort of pun on the pockets, peas out, peace out, because one of the peas is leaving and throwing up the peace sign, as one does when one leaves. Peace out, dog.
Somebody help! The rainbows are taking over the channel. Poor Sniffledorf. Click on the top right or bottom left before he turns into a beastly Sparkledorf. Oh no!